The world is changing. Inspiration is everywhere. It has never been so easy to connect, share, and bring people together. We're learning from others and finding the best in ourselves. Challenging our beliefs. Sharing our vulnerability. Overcoming our fears. Transforming ourselves so we can transform the world. How far can we go?
This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is... This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is Jaeson Ma, the media executive, serial entrepreneur, and artist. You have a long track record of launching successful companies with a particular focus on the Asian market, such as EST Media, Stampede Ventures, East West Ventures, and 88 Rising. You're also an investor, advisor, and partner in several entertainment funds, having raised capital and advised on transactions totaling over $1 billion. After selling drugs as a kid, taking part in rap battles, getting involved with gangs, and being arrested on multiple occasions, you found God, became a missionary, and later worked with MC Hammer before pursuing a career as a venture capitalist. In 2021, you launched the social media platform Open, a Web3 super app for artists and creators, building a decentralized world where communities can come together to create, own, and bring their ideas to the world. Jaeson, welcome to London Real.
It's an honor. Thank you, Brian.
I'm really excited, man. And I just want to start by saying that Open is actually one of our portfolio companies here at London Real Ventures, which is the world's first media-powered investment firm. Our mission is to transform the world by investing in cutting-edge Web3 and AI companies while giving our partners marketing exposure across the London Real media platforms and academies. We heighten awareness, create customers, build communities by leveraging our global audience and extensive network. Jaeson, super excited to be part of this journey with you with Open. And let's jump in, man. You've had a crazy life, a crazy journey.
Let's do it.
And I want to get into that, but I did want to start with Open. So maybe we'll kick off there. Tell me about this Web3 super app, and maybe in doing so, you can tell me about EST Media and your mission to bridge East and the West through media, entertainment, technology.
Yeah, maybe talk about the story of how we got into Open. It was actually by accident. And so pre-pandemic, I want to start my ultimate platform, bridging East and West. And so my mission always been bridging East and West through media, entertainment, technology, through stories and talent. That's been my mission statement since I was 19. I'm 42 now. And so when I had started these East-West media companies like 88 Rising, East West Ventures, my partner Greg Silverman with Stampede, I was thinking about how do I create the ultimate platform, leveraging media and tech to create understanding between the two cultures, East and West. So at the time, I was really sick and tired of Western media controlling the Eastern narrative, meaning Fox, CNN, Red Dragon, China this, that, New York Times, et cetera, et cetera. And I always just kept thinking, why does the East, which is the largest population in the planet, Asia, not have its own media platform and its own media voice from Asia to the rest of the world? Why is it always controlled by Western media? So at the time I was thinking, why don't we have like our own New York Times, our own CNN? So I then envisioned EST, which stands for Eastern Standard Times. So you can go to easternstandardtimes.com, EST Media, which would be Asian owned, from an Asian perspective, from Asia, talking about current events, culture, what's happening in the world from an Asian perspective. So when I started it, I raised capital, and it was actually very difficult. There's a whole story behind that. But once we were able to raise our seed capital, I wanted to leverage tech and media with both of my experiences in both. And so I had three divisions. I had UGC, user-generated content, I had PGC, professionally generated content, and I had studios. And the whole idea was almost like a Wattpad webtoon for news and journalism. So the UGC side was a citizen journalism app that I was creating, where I wanted to be similar to like TikTok or companies like Triller that I had invested in, where anyone could be in Bangkok, filming live on their phone a protest that's happening in the streets and be able to right then and there live stream, air it, record it, commentate on it, and upload it to the network. If that story went viral within our network, then our PGC side, or professionally generated content, would say, wow, that news story is going viral. Let's now do an article, let's do a video, a mini documentary, similar to like Vice or Vox or Huffington Post or New York Times. If that went viral and that story, that article went 10 million views or, viral, then our studio division would go, hey, wait a second. We have a story here that is potent. We have a story here that we can actually develop into a long form premium piece of content, into a feature film, a TV series, a documentary. So as you know, Spotlight was a Boston Globe article that won the Academy Awards. Hustlers was a New York Times article. Argo was a Vanity Fair article. Narcos was a book, right? And so basically it was this whole farming system of IP where we could use user-generated content, technology, professionally generated content into premium studio content. So raised the capital, had my investors from 88 Rising, my investors from Stampede and other companies that I had raised for. They were all backing me in this. And COVID hit. So when COVID hit, it was quite interesting. I'm stuck at home, and I remember I was one of the first 3,000 invites on Clubhouse. And, it was crazy, right? Everyone's stuck at home, and everyone's on this live audio app, and it was going crazy. It was going viral, and it was like this whole thing. And around that time, one of my investors, Galaxy Interactive, a guy named Richard Kim, who's actually based here in London, he's like, hey, Jason, you ever heard of a phenomenon called social tokens? And I was like, no, what do you mean? He's like, we have this social token called RNG. We have a Discord group. It's built on blockchain. We're leveraging NFTs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm like, what are you talking about? I mean, because I invested in Bitcoin since 2015 personally, right? Bitcoin and ETH, but I'd never felt it, right? There's a whole other story with me and Paris Hilton and introducing her to one of the original founding team of Ethereum. And at that time, they wanted to make her the Martha Stewart of blockchain, which she kind of has now become. And but it was too early. And we invested in a few companies, a few dApps, but I never felt it. So he gets me on this Clubhouse, and I'm on this Clubhouse panel with these other social token NFT experts. One guy named Whale Shark, who's the #1 NFT collector in the world, over 500,000 digital art collectibles. A buddy of mine that was a founder of FWB, Friends with Benefits, one of the first and largest DAOs in the Web3 ecosystem. And they're just talking about Web3, DAOs, centralized autonomous organizations, social tokens, NFTs. And I'm like, I'm just being honest with you guys, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I literally don't know. And it brought me down into this rabbit hole where I started talking more to Richard and Whale Shark and my buddy at FWB. And I'm like, wow, this is really interesting. It's a whole decentralized network where communities can gather and not be owned by a centralized system and be direct with their communities and their ideas and monetize and believe and communicate whatever it is that they're about. So I started going deeper and deeper and deeper, and I started realizing as I started testing some of these Web3 NFT projects that there was just a lot of complexity and disparity. So I started just testing and seeing what could be done. So I remember there was a platform, mirror.xyz, that was kind of like a blogosphere for Web3. And there was an Ethereum documentary that they were trying to raise money for through Ethereum. And I thought, this is interesting. So they're going to try to raise $1 million in Ethereum in, I believe, 24 hours through a crowdfunding campaign. And everyone would have to put in like an ETH to get a credit in the documentary, to get access to, the red carpet or, the Tribeca Film Festival opening or wherever it's going to show. And what was interesting about it was they were saying that if this sells to a network or a streamer or Netflix or whatever that might be, those of you who invested in ETH will get dividends. And I was like, well, this isn't Kickstarter. This isn't GoFundMe, right? normally like, I go donate $100, I get a wristband, or maybe I get to meet the producer. So I thought this is quite interesting. There's actually a level of ownership. So they launched the campaign and they raised over $6 million in Ethereum in less than 24 hours. And I contributed, and I'm like, whoa, this is interesting. So not only did I invest in ETH, I not only get credits and perks and access, but I also get dividends if this monetizes. I was like, and we all own a piece of this film. So I was like, this is really, really interesting. And so because I came from the music industry with 88 Rising, I know obviously how the music industry works. I started with MC Hammer when I was 17 years old, and he taught me everything from payola to Clear Channel, Radio 1, and DJs and money under the table, and just how the whole music industry works and how little music artists get paid. That was in the CD era. Fast forward into digital streaming, or DSPs, digital streaming platforms, Spotify, to give an example. My top artist at 88 Rising has to get 100 million streams to get paid 300 grand. Okay, so you literally have to get almost 500 million streams to make $1 million, right, on Spotify or Apple, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. How many artists are actually getting 1 billion streams, right? We're talking about the top 0.1 percentile. So it doesn't matter if you're getting 1 million streams on Spotify or 10 million streams, you're not making money, right? And so I saw this rap artist, I don't want to mention the name because it's too controversial, and he got canceled, I'll just put it this way. And I was like, okay, great, this guy got canceled. He has no way of distributing his music on DSPs, meaning Spotify, Deezer, Apple, because they all took him off. He got dropped by his major music label. He literally has no other options. And I'm like, he's a perfect guinea pig. So our team met with his management and was like, you should make your next music album an NFT. And they're kind of like, what is this? What is that? Convinced them to do it. They had no other options. Let's go for it. So he put 7 songs that he had not released and connected them to an NFT with a digital asset or digital art that was connected to each song, and made 1 million albums, priced them each at $1. He puts out on his social media, which he had 10 million followers on YouTube and Instagram, and said, I'm making the first rap NFT album. Goes viral in only 24 hours, drops the mint, and it sells out in less than 60 seconds. Servers crashing, credit card, crypto payments. So about 80% bought with credit card, about 20% bought with crypto. There were over 600,000 transactions on the back end. We're seeing all the data. He made $1 million in less than a minute and went platinum. That would never happen to him.
Even if he wasn't canceled.
Even if he wasn't canceled.
Right.
And I'm going, holy, this is wild. And what was even crazier was the 20% that bought with crypto, they started reselling the album on NFT marketplaces like OpenSea. So he loses his mind, and he's on Instagram, and he literally does a backflip into his pool. And he's like, y'all don't understand. Like, not only am I making bread, y'all are making bread, right? We're making money together, right? My fans. And that's when light bulbs started going off in my head. But I'm looking at this whole experience. It took a team of over 10 of us, right, from engineering and devs to create a separate website that had a music player that could then connect a crypto wallet and a credit card to then market on Clubhouse and Discord for community, Twitter, social media. And then you had to connect a MetaMask, and then you had to go and, Discord and talk to your community, and then you had to create another website. It was just like everything was disparate, everything was disconnected, and it was just so difficult just to buy this $1 album. So I thought to myself, like, Web3 is hard. It's complex. There's got to be a better seamless UI UX to streamline Web3 access and ownership. And so that's when I had this idea, because I spent time living in China and I saw the rise of WeChat in 2010, 11, and 12, when it just started as a walkie-talkie app. And all of a sudden now it's over 1 billion daily active users, and it does everything. Like, truly, it is the world's first and only truly major super app that does payments to food delivery, to paying for your cell phone bill, to the electricity in your home, to everything and anything you can literally do through one app.
We don't have a concept of that in the West, do we?
Not yet.
Right. We segmentize everything. I tweet over here.
That's right.
I pay over here. I shop over here.
That's right.
But WeChat is truly everything.
It's everything. And there's a lot of different reasons, I believe, from a cultural standpoint, the timing of when WeChat was launched by Tencent, because it didn't have all these other segmented services. Like in America or the West, you have DoorDash, and then you have Airbnb, and then you have Uber, and you have all these different services that came before a super app could come into the West. Whereas in China, this truly was the app that everyone used to communicate and then have goods and services brought upon it. So I'm looking at this whole situation and I'm going, wow, crypto is its own community. It's its own country. It has its own language. It has its own people. It has its own belief system. It has its own governance. And I'm like, crypto needs its own super app. And so this is when I was like, if I could streamline the UI UX to have a Web 2 seamless experience, but is powered by Web 3 or blockchain technology, then there is a massive opportunity here to solve the issues of complexity and also service an entire community, country, or industry. So I went back to Galaxy and I was like, guys, I think this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The citizen journalism app that I'm creating that feels like TikTok or Triller, I want to pivot this and make it a Web3 super app. And that's how OP3N was birthed. And so they extended our seed round, gave us the capital, and then I brought in Warner Music Group and Yasu, founder of Animoca, Jiho, founder of Axie Infinity, Gabby, founder of YGG, Whale Shark, and I call them the Asian Web3 Mafia. These are my buddies. They all came into my seed extension round, and then we pivoted because I said I need to hire blockchain engineers, and I hired a whole team out of Vietnam, and we started developing and pivoting our UGC citizen journalism app into a Web3 super app, which now became open.
Okay. And you made an announcement earlier this year on TechCrunch, I think, talking about $100 million valuation, $28 million invested. Like you said, the who's who of investing with you. Avalanche was in there as well. And Yatsu, chairman of Animoca Brands, who's been here in the show, was in that seat a couple months ago. He said, Open is creating a platform where artists and creators can significantly increase their revenue streams while enjoying true digital ownership of their assets. And we know Yat is a big fan of ownership. And that's what you just talked about is a demonstration. We can talk about that. He went on to say this model is revolutionizing the way people create and interact in the digital world in a way that Web 2 simply can't. Jaeson and Eric, who's your co-founder, have a strong track record in media and entertainment and abundant talent and tenacity, and I believe their vision of the open super app could powerfully impact entertainment community access and ownership. Strong statements from, I think, probably the most important guy right now in the metaverse, which is Yat.
Yes, the man.
Yeah.
It really is an honor and it's a blessing to have Animoca and Yat not only personally invest, but through Animoca lead our Series A. I'd known Yat pre-Animoca becoming this multi-billion-dollar behemoth in Web3. I still remember it was 2018. We were in Hong Kong at a Rise conference. It's kind of like a web summit in Hong Kong. And we were both in Macau, and I remember at the time, I don't remember exact details, but I remember him either being delisted from the Australian Stock Exchange, and Animoca was just, there was no hope. And I remember looking at him like, yo, any way I can help, me and my friends, let us know. And I had not talked to Yat since that point. And then now I'm in COVID, it's like 2021, and I'm sitting with a major venture capital firm. And there's like, man, Animoca, Yat, Sue. And I'm like, Yat? I'm like, there's only one Yat I know, right? So I text him, I'm like, yo, what's going on? And, we catch up, and it could not happen to a better founder. I look at Yat as a founder of founders. He's a proven founder. He's been in this space for 2 decades plus, with incredible successes, ebbs and flows, highs and lows, but through it all, just resilient. And he truly is a leader of leaders, and he truly is a technologist, and he's a visionary. And so the success of Animoca now becoming the biggest player in Web3 could not be given to a leader in this space better than someone like Yat. And so I'm just very, very, very honored to have him on our cap table and on our board and leading our Series A.
Yeah, it's a big deal, and it's great having him out in front, just talking all the time, going around the world and trying to explain people, what's happening here. And again, digital property rights is something he's so passionate about. But like, even if we unpack that example that you gave of that rapper who was canceled and now created IP and a direct relationship between him and his fans, there's a lot going on there, because a lot of us have been canceled over the years by, media companies, technology platforms. And it goes to show you that layer was standing in the way of all of this incredible engagement, commercial success. And when you found a way to take them out of it, you had an artist connecting with fans, both creating great value, money. I mean, what an amazing example that is. And so for people that don't understand what Web3 is that the essence of it, where it's this peer-to-peer? Is it a direct connection between people without a middleman? How do you explain that to people?
So for me, open is about empowerment. And what I mean by that is, how can I empower anyone, any human being, to own their ideas and be direct with the communities that believe in their ideas without a middle layer? And Web 1 was about what we understand as read. I can go on Yahoo, first Netscape, then Yahoo, then Google, and I can read and receive information. Web 2 was about write, where now, after the first .com bubble in 2004, 5, 6, came the Facebooks, the YouTubes, the Twitters, now Instagram, TikTok, etc., where now I can publish or I can write, right? Web 2 is about writing. Now I, as a user or creator, can now publish content that others can receive. But the problem with Web 2 is that it's owned by these centralized technology companies like FANG, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google, that control, right, your data, your information, your followers, your ideas, your IP is all owned. And so whether you're Donald Trump or you're Kanye West or you're Brian Rose or whoever it is, if these giant pyramid new Egyptian companies with their pharaohs, who are the Zuckerbergs and Elon Musk of whoever, don't like your content.
To continue watching the rest of the episode for free, visit our website londonreal.tv or click the link in the description below.